Hey y'all, welcome back to Triple C, Candace's College Cooking, where I have the privilege of teaching you, the 20-something crowd, the basics and hacks of cooking, as well as how to create restaurant-worthy meals to impress your friends, your roommates, or even a date. Today, we're gonna do watermelon feta salad. You need watermelon, you need some feta cheese, you need some basil. And then for the dressing, we're going to use 1 lime. So the zest of the lime, don't forget, always use the zest. The zest is where all the flavor is. So zest the lime, juice the lime. You want to use a fresh lime for sure. And then about a tablespoon of honey. And we're going to go ahead and use balsamic vinegar. You could use a champagne vinegar or a white vinegar. Probably not rice wine vinegar, but apple cider vinegar would work nicely here. We're going to use about, I'd say, let's call that a tablespoon as well. And then about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And we're also going to put a little splash of salt and a little splash of pepper. And then just give that a quick whisk. And we'll set it aside and I'll show you how to cut the watermelon. So I would call this a medium-side seedless watermelon. Cutting a watermelon is a little bit on the challenging side. What I typically do is I'm gonna cut it in half. I'm gonna set half of it aside. I'm actually gonna probably cut off the ends as well, just to kind of create a base, and then I'll go to town. So cut off one end. And you could, do something with the rind, like pickle the rind. I'm not gonna show you how to do that today, and I'm not gonna do it. Not my favorite thing in the world. All right, so I've got one end cut off. Now I'm gonna cut this guy down the middle. You can do it this way, or I could set it on its end like this, and we can try to go and cut the watermelon that way. Still gonna give us a half a watermelon. All right, this guy's nice and juicy and ripe. I can smell it. It's really, really nice. And we're gonna wanna cut this into about 1-inch chunks. So, looks pretty. I'll put this one aside for now. And here's what we're gonna do. We're going to cut the other end off. And then I'm gonna cut it into slices and then cut it into the 1-inch chunks. I'll be back shortly, but remember, cut in the middle first, because you wanna try to make even pieces. Middle first. And clearly I have a pretty sharp knife. It's not hard to cut through a watermelon, but you kind of need, a big knife to do it. And then I'm gonna cut this into 3s and 3s. So be back in a few. All right, so I have my watermelon, my half watermelon cut into, I've got 3 on one side and 4 on the other side. I know that's not even, but that's the way it kind of ended up. Now, what I'm gonna do is, let's just take a piece like this and we're just gonna cut the rind off. Go from the side that has the least amount of the pink flesh. I know you can't see this. I'm gonna adjust the camera. You can't see my head, but you can see the watermelon, and that's what you need to see. All right, we're gonna cut this into 1-inch chunks. You wanna get all the white off, which is the pithy part, and then we'll cut that in half, and that can be a 1-inch chunk. And we're gonna add it to the dressing. All right, let's see how it tastes. Love watermelon. I don't have it very often, but you're gonna love it in the salad. I'll cut this all up and I'll be back shortly. Okay, so I finished cutting up half the watermelon. That's all I'm gonna need. As you can see, I have a big bowl of watermelon. The dressing is in the bottom. And now I wanna add a sprinkle of salt on top of the watermelon. And again, when I was a kid, I was like, why would you put salt on something sweet? Trust me, you need to do it. It brings out the sweetness. All right, so we're gonna use about a cup of feta. This is feta that's already crumbled. You can buy it in a large chunk and cut it up yourself. I just am going the lazy way today, all right? So a rough order, you know what? Let's add a cup and a half of feta. I think we need just a little bit of extra. And then I have, let's call this probably 2 tablespoons of fresh chopped basil. We're gonna throw that on top. Then we need to give this a good stir. So get a sturdy wooden spoon. You might even want 2 of those. So let's go that route. And we're basically going to just give this a nice toss. Now remember that all of our dressing is at the bottom. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dump this into a serving bowl, and then all that dressing will end up being on top. Give me just one more second and I'll show you what it's gonna look like and give it a taste. All right, so I've dumped this in my beautiful serving bowl, which happens to be melamine. Take it outside, and it has a lid. To finish it off, I'm just gonna put a little bit of fresh basil on top. Now, by the time I serve this tomorrow, I'll probably have to get new basil, but what the heck. All right, and let's see what this tastes like. Great salt from the salt and the feta. I can taste the honey from the dressing, as well as that balsamic vinegar. And of course the watermelon tastes delicious. Trust me, super easy salad. You will love it for by the pool or any summer barbecue. And you know, pretty economical. If you enjoyed this episode, please like and share on social. And remember, to share a meal is to share a life. I hope you'll join me for my next episode. Have a fantastic day.